Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 57 of Bardic Quest, the show where a group of British trained actors tell fantastical, improvised stories through the medium of Dungeons and Dragons. First of all, well, a bit of housekeeping that we got to do. So, we were in fact due to have pretty much everybody here this session, but then life happened, and so we had to scramble to find a new recording date for this session. So that has just thrown everybody's schedules out. So we are limited, unfortunately, to Annina and Isaac this session, which is really annoying because we were this close to having everybody. But hey ho, life happens. But also we have been plagued with tech issues this morning. So Isaac is not in his usual wonderful background. He's recording on his phone because tech issues, so sound quality is not going to be as good. Apologies.
Everything's going so well.
But hey, if it's all going swimmingly well, are you even playing D&D?
Yeah.
So apologies for that. A big thank you as well to our friends as always at Sirenscape for allowing us to use their sound effects and ambience. And also, check them out, sirenscape.com, obviously. Great app, definitely recommend. But also, I want to give a heads up. We have a little bit of new merch, Saga merch. There's more coming, hopefully by the time that this episode goes out. But from today, 27th of October, 2022, all the way through to Halloween, there is going to be free standard shipping on everything. So check it out, bardicquest.com/shop. We've added loads of bits of merch since I last did a shout out, so check that out, and there is more on the way as well. So, without further ado, let's get into this week's episode of Bardic Quest. Last time, finally, after dealing with Splug and his band of goblins, our heroes made their way to Cragmaw Castle, where they believe their friend Gundren Rockseeker might be being held. It took a little bit of time to do some planning outside of the castle, which seemed to be all but abandoned, and settled on a plan to send in an invisible Sergei into the castle to do a little bit of scouting ahead, whilst Johann keeps an eye on him from the bushes at one end of the castle, with Thorik, Saga, and Saga's tribe, or the handful of barbarians from her tribe, keeping watch from another angle, which is where we pick up, essentially. Saga and Thorik, you are sat in the bushes, looking at the castle, waited expectantly for Sergei to come out and report on his findings within the castle. 10 minutes goes by, 20 minutes goes by, 30 minutes goes by, and the time gets longer and longer and longer, with no sign or sound of Sergei coming from within or without the castle. What would you like to do?
How long do we wait?
going to strangle that halfling.
I
It
don't
just
blame you.
disappears.
Waltzes in, brings friends. I'm getting worried.
Aye, same. What do you think, Johann? Johann?
Oh,
Do we see any sign of Johann?
Give me a perception check, please.
Perception 6.
6. You did see some signs of some footprints leading off around the castle, but you lose them pretty quickly after about 4 or 5 footprints worth.
unbelievable.
By the nine hells. Those two.
Unbelievable. So, we can't just sit here all day.
Ooh. Wayne, what's the time of day again?
It is early morning. Well, not early morning. Say, in Earth terms, about 10 a.m.
Yeah, we camped and then did the last bit of the journey, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we can't just sit here. We're I'm not exactly the stealthiest of persons.
Neither am I, but we do have reinforcements. I
Aye.
could send them ahead. Well, some of them ahead.
Do. What's our plea here? We're sort of heading into the dark again.
I mean, they don't really play for subtlety, these guys. But they are terrifying.
Do we just walk in?
As you said, neither of us are stealthy with our armor. We walk in.
Try and sneak in. When?
We'll try.
Yeah.
We'll try.
So there are.
When? Wait. Sorry, go on. Wait.
There are, as you saw, 2 potential entrances into the castle. There's the side entrance, which you saw Sergei try and abandon. And then there is the main entrance, which is the way you saw Sergei go through.
I suppose we wouldn't have seen this because he was invisible at the time, was he not?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We wouldn't have seen
Yeah, we wouldn't.
You wouldn't have seen that, that's right.
How good is my perception?
Thank you
if
for
I saw
reminding me
that?
of that important fact, Isaac.
We just see like the latch get like rattled.
Yeah.
And then
I still think we should try the side entrance.
I think
Going
that would
in the
make
front
sense.
door is just too much.
All right. So we try and sneak in.
Mm-hmm.
If we get caught, try and talk our way out. If that doesn't happen, then
We have.
aye. And I will show Saga the final scroll case that I have on my person. As he unfurls it, it's kind of got the edges of the scroll almost look like they're blackened and burned. It has lots of symbols and various different stuff. Like this kind of almost circular thing in the center. if things go really badly, this will make quite a large bang. But it's probably not very good if any of us are stood particularly close to where I'm using it.
Ah. Will it hurt you?
Not if my aim's fine and it's far enough away. But then we're going into a castle, so I don't really know how much room I'm going to have.
Okay, it'll be a last resort.
Aye. So he tucks away the scroll of fireball and carefully places it, like tucks it into the top of his armor. For emergencies.
Yeah. Where did you get that?
That's a good question. I think it was in Glassstaff's. You know where we fought that eye monster thing?
Oh yes.
I think it was in his or I assume it was him in his chest. You know, he went through that lab. There was the rat.
Yep. The rat. Yeah.
His research, and then his chambers. I think it was in there. Picked that and a few other things as well. I'm not a very good talker, as well, so there was another one that I used on your friend.
I did wonder what you used on him, because they're usually very suspicious of anyone else.
Oh, I got that.
I must say you did a good job.
That's very kind of you. To be fair, that was all mostly the scroll, because I used it on him, and then he told them what to do. I don't know if I'd have done particularly well, but it was distracting, if nothing else, while Johann slipped your bond. So
I'm grateful.
You're welcome.
Things could have gone very differently if you hadn't. I don't think I'd be here right now.
Well, give you a bit more credit than that. I'm sure you'd have found your way out eventually, but no, you're welcome. You do the same for us, so.
Right.
Just out of interest, Isaac, just some housekeeping side of things. Is Fireball on your spell list?
Isn't that a higher? I have.
It is.
Level?
So, hang on. Consult the Book of Hands. I believe it's a third level.
It's a third level spell. Yeah, I'm just not sure if it's on your spell list.
I'm absolutely certain it is. Hang on, it is a third level, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah. Because if it's not on your spell list, it might be unusable by yourself.
It is not. Why do I think? I tell you why. I once played with a cleric who did use Fireball, but I think it was I think they might have been a
different domain, maybe.
Different domain who can use Fireball.
Oh no!
So your Fireball is not usable, unfortunately.
Oh dear.
Would Thorik know this, or?
Well, because Fireball is not on his spell list, technically he wouldn't even be able to read the scroll at all.
I wouldn't have been able to read it.
Oh, okay.
I thought I could because you said I could read it.
Yeah, that's probably my fault.
Oh, I see.
But it just occurred to me that I was like, I don't think a life cleric could do Fireball.
I mean, while we're on the subject, looking at the spell list, I don't think Charm, Person, or Darkness are either, but it sucks to be you because I've already used them.
Well, yes. You can have those ones for free.
Very kind of you.
Good, because otherwise we have a
lot of retconning to do.
We're starting the episode again. Just me talking about me being Billy Big Balls, being like, "Oh yeah, don't worry."
And Saga's no longer in the campaign because she's back with the tribe. Against so well.
So, I don't know if that
Great.
might change your plans at all.
Just edit this bit out, wait, and just take it out. We just talked about reasons why I've saved her.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
dear.
all a lie. It's all a lie. To be fair, I think it's a
It was
really
the charm person was just a placebo. That's
Yeah.
basically what it was.
Ah, I see.
I
You gained
believe-
the confidence to
That's right.
actually just charm him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
You just Ron Weasley'd me.
Yeah.
I believed that I was charming, so
That's
it
right.
So
worked.
it worked. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
anyhow,
Yeah.
back to the plan at hand.
Aye. So Thorik tucks away this scroll and like just goes back to look for it, and it's just not there. It's just disappeared.
Yeah.
Disappeared. Aye. So quietly side door.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Sorry, one moment.
No.
Saga turns to the barbarians and goes, "You heard him. We talk first, and you wait for my sign before you start swinging. Correct?"
They kind of look at each other, and they kind of a couple of them looking a little bit curious at your tactic, but generally a nod of recognition. Another housekeeping side of things, I suppose. You've actually got 3 of these barbarians and 2 of you. So how do you want to assign the barbarians?
I'll take Boar.
Okay.
And Thorik can have the brothers.
Okay. Grigor and Ivor.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Tweedledee,
Great.
Tweedledee.
He's called Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Are they twins? Do they look?
They are not twins.
They're not twins.
No, I wasn't going to go so far as to make them twins.
Yeah.
No, they're not twins.
Yeah.
Just brothers.
Just brothers. Yeah.
Grigor is the older.
Yeah. Is Boar older than the brothers?
Yes.
I imagined the same. So yeah.
Okay, so you're going to head to the side entrance. Okay. So you head to the south side of the old castle. There's the overgrown path that leads to a small passage that climbs up into the larger wall. And at the top of these stairs, you can see a large iron door standing there, sheltered from direct outside attack, as this is an old fortified building. So that passageway just kind of blocks access to the door. And there are arrow slits 10 feet above the ground, just overlooking the path that you're approaching on. Are you intending to be stealthy?
I mean, intending, yes.
Intending to.
With my
But I believe-
disadvantage
I was
to
going to
stealth.
say, you both have chainmail, so you're both
Yeah.
a bit clinky clanky.
Yep.
Do you want to both roll your stealth checks then with disadvantage for me?
I believe in you. Sorry, can I cast guidance on both of us before this roll?
Of course you can.
Thank you so much.
Is it? What did we get with guidance?
It'll
D4?
add a D4.
Yeah. Oh dear. With guidance, a 6.
Wow. Even the gods can't make you stealthy, Saga.
You know what? I'll take that. With guidance, a 13.
Oh.
Okay, not bad.
I've been around barbarians too long.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. All right. So.
Just maracas.
Okay. So Thorik, you're moving with great skill, just quietly along this path. You've mastered, at least for now,
Yeah.
moving in such a way that your chainmail hardly rattles at all. Saga, however, despite what you said to the barbarians, I
Yeah.
think you're a little bit more gunning for a fight than you perhaps might have wanted to admit, and so
Yeah.
are being a little less careful about how you're sneaking along. And so you sound like a bit like a walking jewelry store at this point, as your chainmail just rattles around.
Yeah.
And you approach the door. You can see the arrow slits above you. And yes, as I say, there's the stairs and then the large iron door to the left as you're looking up the stairs.
Okay. Do you want to do the honors?
I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to try that door.
And you do indeed know the answer to this question because, as you suspect, the door is locked.
Is it a wooden door?
It is an iron door.
Iron door, okay.
Iron door.
Well, I guess we'll have to try the other entrance. Can I scan for some sort of hidden door, latch? Door
Sure.
or latch or hatch or...
Do you want to give me an
Yes.
investigation check, please?
Yes.
Can I take a look around to see if there's anywhere that with a rope we might be able to like grapple up to or somewhere?
That's a
Interesting.
16.
16. You don't see any secret hatches or latches or anything, but you do deduce that that this door could possibly be jimmied open with some thieves' tools, if any of you happen to have any. But no secret latches or any of any kind. Thorik, do you want to give me an investigation check as well, just on your climbing over theory?
12.
12. The walls around here are pretty high. Though it's a ruined castle, they're very, very high, and it's an old fortress. So it's looking highly unlikely, at least on this side of the castle, that you might be able to climb up. Even despite one of the walls nearby being ruined, it's still part of a tower, so it's still very tall. What would
We
you
could
like to
try
do?
to. I just sort of whispered to Saga, we could try to force the door, but then they're going to hear it, so we'd have to try and then get in and lose ourselves quickly before they came here.
It's iron. If it was wooden, I'd have one of these guys bash it through.
Ah, well. Iron can be made to yield as well, though it might take a bit more time than we have.
So,
Why don't we, on the other side to the entrance, why don't we send one of your lads to make a little bonfire for us? Maybe turn their attention that way for a moment, and probably won't be perfect, but...
to get in through this door.
Well, I'm just thinking if maybe just in the woods on this side, away from the other door that we're going to have to go through, or this one, get one of your lads to fire to something, cause a bit of a smoke.
Yes, let's do that. I'm just going to point to one of the brothers and like snap my fingers and then point towards the woods.
Okay. To go and light a fire.
Fight. Yeah.
Okay. Whereabouts are you hoping to put this fire?
Saga, are we thinking we're going to try and force this door or go through the other one?
Go through the front.
Get him to wait till
have we seen the other door? Have we seen the other door? Is it also iron?
You haven't had a close look at that
Oh.
side of the castle, no.
Well, if he goes to the side, sort of so he can see both entrances, so he can be seen from both entrances,
Okay.
and causes a bit of a ruckus and fire there, then we can peek around, see if the front door is iron or if it happens to be wood or something. And then we can make a quick decision.
So you want him to start the fire, and then you're going to go and have a look.
Well, it's going to take him some time to walk over it.
So whilst he's going, then you're going to go and peek around.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So you send him off, and so you're going to go and venture towards the main entrance of the castle.
Yep.
Okay. So, as you know, the castle itself, there's sort of 7 crumbling towers of different sizes and heights, with the upper stories all kind of being in various states of collapse. But as I mentioned, they're still, the walls and the towers are still pretty high at this point. So near the main entrance, there is a short flight of steps that leads up either side to a little terrace. Okay. And then that terrace is then in front of the main entryway.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, in answer to your question, the actual main doors, without you even having to go up the stairs, you can see that the main doors themselves are just broken. They're not even on their hinges anymore.
Yeah.
They're just shattered, and you can just see a shadowed hall. And then there are these 2 round towers that loom over that entryway either side, with dark arrow slits looking down on the terrace.
Okay.
So there's essentially no door on the front entrance.
So I suggest we wait for our distraction and then just go through the front. Through the front broken doors.
Gotta look out for those arrow slits, though.
Yes.
Okay. So you sent one of the barbarians off, and presumably you're going to hide out of sight for the fire. And then he spends, it's a good half an hour, I'd say, just getting this fire going in view of both entrances to the castle. Do you want to give me both another stealth check, please?
Not really, but
Guidance is gone, right? It's a one-use deal.
I mean, I cast it again if we're going to be sneaky.
Yeah, guidance is...
That's cantrip, is it?
Yeah, cantrip.
Mine's a 7 this time.
Mine's an 8.
So,
Stealthy boys.
you sit and wait, hiding wherever you can, to wait and see if any distraction is caused. And before long, you see by the main entranceway just a goblin just poke its head out of the main entranceway.
Okay.
And then it pokes its head back in. And then 3 goblins emerge out of the main entranceway, stood on the terrace, looking out. Their attention focused very much on the fire. Which is, it's not a huge fire at this point. Let's say, fairly medium-sized bonfire. It's nothing huge, but enough to perhaps cause concern of perhaps a forest fire of some kind. And these goblins are very much focused on that, and they haven't seen you.
Can we get past them?
Currently, as they are currently stood, they are on the terrace as of right now, looking out towards the fire.
Sorry, when you say the terrace, where is the terrace in relation to the front door?
So you come out the front door and you're on the terrace.
Okay, so they're basically in our way.
Essentially, as of right now, yes. Is there anything you'd like to do?
I mean, Saga leans over to Thorik and goes, I can always send one of them in.
What if you got one of them?
Sorry?
Sorry, I'm whispering. What if you got one of them to cause a racket and like draw one of them off, or draw some of them off? And then we try and go in while they're off, ideally. I don't know.
Yes, and I brother number 2 is now going to do this.
It was just gonna run for it.
I want him to like go onto the stairs and like try and draw with it, like be like cause a ruckus, so the goblins will hopefully run off the terrace to attack him.
Okay, so he's just going to charge in at the goblins, essentially, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just as you're sending him, you kind of give the order. These 3 goblins do start to descend the stairs of the terrace.
Yes. Okay.
And they do look actually now with the intention of moving towards this fire to try and stamp it out.
Okay, I stop. Brother number 2.
Okay, so they kind of move towards the fire, and you kind of hear them letting out little yelps and all sorts as they're like trying to stamp out this fire. They're not doing a very good job, and some of them are managing to burn themselves on their feet as they're just trying to stamp this fire out. It certainly seems to have got their attention for sure, and they are very much focused in on that fire for now.
Let's go.
We're going.
Okay.
We head for the door.
There isn't a door. It's just a hole. Run up the steps.
Okay. Let's go for another stealth check, please.
It can only get better. Guidance.
Are we doing guidance again, or no?
Yeah, always guidance.
Okay. Always.
As we've got the time and we're not in combat, it's bless you, bless me, bless you as well.
I imagine that the barbarians are like, what is this? Ooh. With disadvantage, I got a 16.
Nice.
I also got a 16 with disadvantage.
Yes.
Very cool. So you all stealthily sneak up the terrace. The goblins are still stamping out this fire. And are you heading straight in through the main entryway?
Yes.
Okay. So you enter this shadowy hall. Now, all but Thorik. This is dim light in here. There's daylight coming in, but this hallway's got no windows other than the main doorway. So no sources of light. So everybody but Thorik is going to be on disadvantage on perception checks in here. But you enter through into this shadowy hall, which looks to serve as a connection point to several other rooms of the castle. There are several doors here. So there are doors that stand closed to the south, with a crumbling mound of rubble partially obscuring the southern hall. To the east, there's a broad corridor which ends in 2 more doors. One leading south, and the other straight ahead to the continuing east.
Okay.
That corridor is cluttered with dusty rubble and fallen plaster from a partial collapse of the ceiling overhead. And there is another doorway. Well, there are two more doorways, in fact. Both kind of in the northern end of the hallway. One that continues north, and one that points west. The northern door is open.
So we have several doors to choose.
Several doors. You've got actually not including the main entranceway. You've got a total of 6 doors to choose from.
As we're in this dim light and it's really dark in here, Thorik goes into his pocket and pulls out a copper piece, which he cups in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to cast light on it.
Okay.
So he's keeping it in his hands, and he just cracks it ever so slightly, and gives it to Saga very carefully, and just says, whispers in your, keep it in your pocket, but use it if you need.
Yes, yeah. Put it in my pocket.
Can you remind me the field of light?
I can.
Is it 20 bright and 20 dim?
That sounds right. So consult the Book of Hands. Lasts for an hour. 20 foot bright, 20 foot dim.
Thought so.
That can be like covered and completely covering the object with something opaque blocks the light. So putting it in Saga's pocket should mean that it's only going to be visible when Saga chooses to reveal it and to look at things. Is Thorik's intention.
Sure, got you. Okay, so now this, when you do let some light escape, Saga, this hall is now quite brightly lit, unless you obviously cup it in your hand.
Well, for now, I'm putting it in my pocket for now.
Okay.
So, one door's open. Do we go through the open door, thinking maybe Sergei went through?
It's as good as any. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll go through the already open door.
Okay.
Which is the northern one, right?
Correct. That's right, yes. The northernmost door.
I'm writing down which way we're going.
Yeah.
Reference.
The mapping is becoming a thing. I like it.
Huh.
Okay. So, you enter through this already open door. And there are old casks of salted meat and sacks of rotting grain filling the storage area. Amongst the supplies, you can also see a bloody suit of chainmail. There's a heavy crossbow there, and an unsheathed longsword with an emblem, one you will be familiar with, as the emblem of Neverwinter, which is worked into the hilt of the sword. There's also grain just forming a path leading into a door to your right as you come into the room. And there is also a door to the left as you're looking into the room. And on the floor in front of that door is, made out of grain, an X.
So the left one has a trail of grain and an X in front of the right one in grain.
The other way around. So the left door has
the X.
And the grain leads to the door to the right.
Right. Do we believe the grain, which means don't go left?
It must be Sergei.
Yeah, it feels like it would be Sergei. Let's go right then.
Does this armor look like the
Human
emblem of
or
Neverwood. Do we recognize this armor as belonging to anyone that we know?
what size
Or
is it? Yeah, is it human? Is it dwarf? Is it?
didn't Sildar say something about like he lost his stuff when he got captured or something?
Yes, you do. Now that your memory is kicking in, you do recall that this to be the armor and sword that Sildar had when you met him in the Beach Leviathan.
Oh,
We could come back for it.
yes, we can.
Could we easily pick up the sword without causing to? I think packing up some chainmail would be a stupid idea, but
Yeah.
would like taking just the sword be feasible?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I think you're right with the chainmail. It would probably make a little bit of a clatter, but the sword is in such a way that it could be picked up without creating much in the way of noise.
Thorik will take sheath and take the sword. Does the crossbow look like it is belonging to Sildar as well, or belonging to someone else?
Difficult to say.
Did Thorik remember seeing Sildar with a crossbow?
Yes, I would say so.
Even so, Thorik takes Gladys and cuts the string.
Okay. Nice.
Hoping that we don't get shot in the back.
That's a good idea. Are there any crossbow bolts lying around?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. So we've picked up the sword. And we're going to go through the right door, the one without the X on it.
The right-hand door. Okay.
Let's do it.
Bear with me just a moment. Okay. So the door is closed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you're gonna just open up the door, yeah?
Is there a keyhole?
No. No keyhole.
Why am I getting deja vu like James asked the exact same question?
I think he did.
You did,
I
yeah.
think he did.
So you enter through the doorway, and you can see that this chamber, from the shape of the room, you're now in one of the more central towers of the castle. And there's a stone altar standing in the middle of the room, covered in a blood-stained black cloth. You can see on this altar that there are golden ritual implements, a chalice, a knife, a censer, all carefully arranged on top of the altar. There are 2 archways to the south which are covered in heavy curtains. But in front of the altar, kneeling, are 3 goblins in prayer at the altar. And as you open the door, They clock you, stand to their feet, draw their weapons, and that is where we shall end this episode.
Oh,
I'm getting predictable with my episode ending.
Yeah.
No,
I'm like,
you're saying it
reaching
for
for
me
my
now,
dice, and you're like, and end of episode. I'm like, okay, I'll take my hand away.
You're saying it for me now, Annina. I'm gonna have to change up my strategy now. All right, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in to this week's episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate or review on your podcatcher of choice, and we will catch you guys next week.